Hello there! In this video we will see how to create a snake game using Python and Pygame. In the previous video I explained how to create a game window for the snake game and also how to create a square that moves around as you press the arrow keys. In this video I will show you how to create a snake with several blocks and how to move them around the display. And then we will see how to add food and make the snake grow every time it finds a food piece. If you haven't watched the previous video, I will recommend that you do, just so you can follow along. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so first thing we are going to do is extending our snake. So instead of one single block, the snake is gonna be 4 blocks long. To do so, I'm gonna need a list where I will add the position of the 4 different blocks. So I will create a variable called snake list, and I will add the starting point, which is the cell in column 30 and row 20, and then 3 more blocks underneath. So they will all be in column 30, and then the blocks underneath are in row 21, then row 22, and last in row 23. Perfect, so our snake have 4 blocks now, so let's see how to draw this. So I'm gonna create a function which I'm gonna call drawSnake, which only need one parameter, the list of blocks to draw, which are gonna make up our snake. Here we are gonna reuse the draw single block function that we wrote earlier. So to draw all blocks, I will use a for loop that will go through all the blocks in the list, and then draw each block using the draw single block function. And remember, each block contains the column and the row where the block should be placed in the matrix. Perfect, so now I will go back to our game loop, and instead of drawing one single block, I will call the drawSnake function and draw the whole snake. Awesome, so let's run this and make sure it works. Perfect, that's working. So let's move on to the next step. Let's see how to make our snake move. Actually, moving the snake is a lot simpler than you will think, since you don't actually need to move or update every block, but instead what you could do is add one block at the end and remove the first block. And if you keep doing this, it will create the illusion of movement. So let's see how we can apply this to the code. So in the game loop, right after we work out where to move the next block, I will append the new block to the snake list. And then if the size of the snake is greater or equal to 4, then I will remove the first block. This way the snake will remain always the same size. And that's all you need to do to move the snake. So let's run it again and test it. Perfect, that's working, and our snake is moving now. So let's see how to add food and then extend the snake every time it finds food. To do this, first we need to decide where to place the food piece. In this case, we just need to select a random cell and then draw a square in that cell. To keep this as simple as possible, I'm gonna create a function that I'm gonna call create food block that will pick a column randomly and also a row randomly. So as I said, the function will be called create food block, and it will have no parameters. And here I will use the random library and the function randomInt to pick a random value between 0 and 59, which is the total number of columns. And then I will also pick a random value between 0 and 39, which is the total number of rows. And then I will return the cell where we will place the food piece. And now I will go back to the game loop and create the variable called food block, and I will call the create food block function we just created. This will provide the random cell that now we need to draw. So the first thing I will do is to draw a food block. I will do that right after filling the display with black. I will use the draw single block function, passing as arguments the position where the block should be drawn and also the color, which is going to be red in this case. Perfect, so let's test it out. So I'm going to run it. Amazing, there is a food block now. However, when the snake gets to the food doesn't disappear and the snake is not growing either. So let's see how we can change this. First, how do we know if the snake found food? The snake head and the food should be in the same cell. In other words, the same column and the same row. To do this, I will go to the game loop and I will add a check at the end saying if x1, which is a column where the snake just moved, if that is equal to the food column, and if y1 is equal to the food row, that means that the snake hit the food block. So in that case, I will need to do two things. The first thing will be to pick up another random cell where to put the next food block, and also we need to grow the snake. To achieve the first one, I will call the create food block that we created earlier, and then I will update the food block with the new cell. Also, we need to make the snake grow. Up to this point, our snake was a fixed size. To make it grow dynamically, I'm gonna add a variable called snake length to keep track of the size. So I will add the variable before the loop, and I will assign 2 at the start. Therefore, I'm also going to remove the 2 blocks from the snake list. Also, I have to update the bit of the code that makes the snake move. So instead of using 4, I will check that the size of the snake is no longer than the size expected, and we keep track of the size expected in the snake length variable. And last, in case we found food, I will increase the snake length by 1. Alright, so let's run the game again. Amazing, it's still working. And when the snake finds food, as you can see, a new food piece is created and also the snake gets longer. Perfect, amazing job. We reached the end of the tutorial where you learn how to create a snake game from scratch using Python and Pygame. There is a number of improvements that you could make to this game, like displaying a game over message when the snake hits the boundaries of the game. You could display the score, you could gradually increase the speed as the score gets higher. So if you would like to see another tutorial where I make those improvements, please send me a comment below and I will be happy to do that. Also, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it was helpful. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.